I'm very concerned. I'm actually a big-hearted guy. And it's all these poor people, and the gap gets bigger and bigger and bigger between rich and poor. It is so fucking easy to get rich. And if you're poor, then you really got some screws loose up here. So listen to this.
Is your bank account constantly feeling emptier than you'd like? What if I told you it might not be about how much you earn, but about a few normal habits that are secretly sabotaging your wealth? Today, we're not just listing money mistakes. We're uncovering specific, seemingly innocent habits that the truly wealthy steer clear of. Habits that can keep the rest of us stuck in a financial loop. Think of this as getting the inside scoop, learning what not to do by seeing what they avoid. By the end of this, you'll spot these traps and have a clearer path to rewriting your own money story. The saver's dream versus the investor's reality. Meet Alex. Alex is diligent, tucking away a bit of cash into a savings account whenever possible. It feels safe, like building a little fortress. Then there's Ben. Ben sees that saved cash not as the end goal, but as starter dough. He consistently channels his savings into things that can grow, stocks, a side business, something that has the potential to bring back more than he put in. While Alex's money sits quietly, Ben's money is out there working, like a team of tiny employees. The hard truth, just saving in today's world often means your money is slowly losing its power to inflation. The wealthy know that true financial growth comes from investing, turning your money into a wealth-building engine. The allure of looking rich versus the wisdom of being rich. Imagine Sarah, who just landed a new job. First thing, that flashy new car and the latest designer bag. She looks the part, right? But those payments are eating up a huge chunk of her income. Now picture Tom. He got a similar job, but he's still driving his older, reliable car and invests the difference. Sarah is pouring money into things that lose value, liabilities. Tom is focused on acquiring assets, things that can make him money, like investments or skills. The wealthy prioritize building actual wealth, often quietly, rather than just showcasing the trappings of it. Before a big purchase, they ask, will this make me money or just make me look like I have money? The hourly grind versus the freedom engine. Most of us trade our time directly for money. An hour of work equals an hour of pay. If you stop working, the money stops. It's the familiar grind. But the rich are obsessed with breaking this direct link. They focus on building freedom engines, sources of income that don't require their constant presence. Think about an author who earns royalties from a book written years ago, or someone who owns rental properties that generate monthly income, or an investor whose portfolio pays dividends. They build systems and assets that work for them around the clock. Are your earnings solely tied to the hours you put in, or are you building something that can eventually pay you while you sleep? The comfort zone cage versus the growth playground. That job you know, the skills you've mastered, the routine that feels easy, it's comfortable, isn't it? But here's a secret. Significant opportunities and wealth rarely hang out inside that comfort zone. They're usually found just beyond what feels familiar and safe. Think about it. Learning a new, in-demand skill, starting a small side venture, even just networking with new people can feel daunting. But it's in those stretches that growth happens. The wealthy treat their comfort zone as a temporary stop, not a permanent residence. They embrace learning, aren't afraid to stumble, and know that calculated risks are often the gateway to bigger rewards. The someday I'll learn about money versus the financial fitness plan. When school ends for many, so does active learning about crucial life skills, especially money. They navigate their finances with bits of advice picked up here and there. But imagine trying to get physically fit without learning about exercise or nutrition. It'd be tough, right? The wealthy treat financial knowledge like physical fitness. They are continuous learners. They read, they listen to experts, they understand that the more financially literate they are, the better decisions they make. You don't need a fancy degree. Start with a good book, a reputable podcast, or a practical course. Investing in your financial education often yields the highest returns. The instant splurge versus the future fortune. That tempting online sale, the urge for takeout after a long day, the latest gadget everyone's talking about. Instant gratification is a powerful pull, and it's a habit that keeps many people's bank accounts perpetually low. The rich, however, are often masters of delayed gratification. It's not that they don't enjoy nice things, but they're willing to postpone a smaller pleasure now for a much bigger reward later. They'd rather invest that money and let it compound so their future self can enjoy even more. often without financial stress. Every time you resist an impulse spend and invest it instead, you're casting a vote for your future wealthy self. The lone wolf income versus the multiple money streams. Relying on just one paycheck is like balancing on a unicycle. One wobble and you could be in trouble. A job loss, an unexpected pay cut, and suddenly your entire financial world is shaky. The wealthy understand the power of diversification, not just in their investments, but in their income sources. They actively cultivate multiple streams of money. This could be a primary job plus a rental property, freelance work, dividends from stocks, or revenue from a side business. If one stream slows down, others can keep things flowing. This provides security and dramatically accelerates wealth building. What's one small additional income stream you could start exploring? The money hush-hush habit versus the financial fluency dialogue. Don't talk about money, it's rude. It's personal. Many of us grew up with these messages. This money hush-hush habit, while well-intentioned, often creates a fog of ignorance and anxiety around finances. If you can't talk about it, how do you learn? How do you negotiate better pay? How do you plan effectively with a partner? The rich tend to be much more open and fluent when discussing money. Not necessarily flashing amounts, but talking strategy, investments, economic trends, and business ideas. They seek advice, share insights with trusted circles, and aren't afraid to ask tough questions. Breaking this taboo in your own life, even just by reading more and talking to financially savvy friends or professionals, can be incredibly empowering. If you look closely, these forbidden habits, the rich avoid all boil down to one core difference: a shift from short-term thinking to long-term vision, from being a passive consumer to an active creator and owner of their financial destiny. So, we've looked at these common habits that can silently hold you back, and how the wealthy take a different road. It's not about being perfect, but about being aware. Recognizing even one of these patterns in your own life is the first powerful step towards change. If this sparked some ideas, stay tuned for our next video and make sure you like and subscribe to this video.